Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are doing what do you want to know readings. These are a little longer and more complex. We have 3 piles for you to choose from: revealing radiance, following your bliss, and hearing messages from spirit. The timestamps are below and I will see you in your readings. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. We are doing a what do you want to know at this time reading, so let's flip your cards over. You've got the 9 of Wands, the 5 of Wands, and the 7 of Pentacles. Falling, celebrate your wins, revealing radiance, following, turquoise, lotus mother. And anxiety isn't trying to limit you, but free you from a situation that no longer feels good. What is your discomfort trying to free you from? Okay, so the 9 of Wands. Traditionally, the 9 of Wands symbolizes, it's kind of like the vibe of a never-ending battle. It's like you're using so many resources and you're working at something, you're defending yourself, you're trying, and it's just like this, just challenge after challenge, and you're still standing. It's like, I'm still here, I'm not dead yet, but you're very kind of tired. So that's the energy of the 9 of Wands. The 5 of Wands is traditionally like a conflict, so conflicting, opposing energies. And then the 7 of Pentacles, it's like there's a wait for some sort of result. It's like, where's the harvest? So it feels like there's a kind of more long-term situation that you're dealing with that is kind of wearing you down over time. And I feel like you recently had to change your position. So you had one stance that you were kind of taking, and then you recently started to be like, well, that's not working, so I have to try something else. And it feels like the energy maybe lightens a little bit. And then it's like, I feel like you see there's progress, so you're seeing evidence that something's shifting, and you are aware that this is a sort of spiritual journey. It's like you're very clear that what you're going through is something that you have to consciously approach and move with your creator power, with your intention, with your energy. Like you get that this is an experience designed to push you into your power, let's say. So you get that. You see the spiritual value of the situation, and that's serving you greatly because, you know, it's so much better to be aware that a situation that feels uncomfortable is there to kind of polish us into our best self than to think, oh, I'm being punished, the universe is hurting me, etc. So your perspective is on, and that's something to celebrate, to really feel into the fact that, like, yeah, I can see this clearly. I get what this is. And revealing radiance is, you know, you understand that the situation is like the grit that enters the oyster shell that then causes the pearl to form. You get that, you understand it. It's like you're really comprehending this at a spiritual level, and you're going, okay, where's the result? So where I would say you are struggling is just the fact that you're working at it, and you're going, where's my result? Like, why isn't this changing? What's going on? Why am I sitting here suffering? Why aren't things shifting? I'm putting all this energy in. And what Spirit is saying is that this is a journey that has a specific kind of time stamp to it. And your work is to cultivate the resilience, to sit in the discomfort and navigate through it. So maybe not something that you want to hear with your ego, but if you can really sink into this, you know, given you have this higher perspective already, if you can sink into this and embrace this as a journey of, essentially, this is you building the container to be able to hold more of your shadow energy. This is you building the ability to intertwine your spirit and matter in a greater way. You're becoming more integrated. You are embodying your wisdom, essentially. So think about it as like a situation where gradually over time you have to introduce your spiritual energy to it over and over and over and over, and everything's kind of braiding together and weaving together within you. And what's going on is that you are producing a greater wholeness and balance within yourself spiritually. Like this is a very important journey for you psychologically, and I would guide you to look into Jung and his teachings around sitting in discomfort and being able to hold more of the soul's energy through that experience. Because as you understand what's going on, and that, yeah, you're doing everything right, you're not getting anything wrong here, but your maybe traditional methods of trying to like magic your way through this isn't really what's called for here. So what's interesting is we go from falling to following, and I really like the play on words there, because falling is like, you have this sense that you are in this kind of spiraling process that you don't have a lot of control over, but following is, that energy is more of like an understanding. It's directed, it's got components that are moving together, it understands more that there's a process to it, and there are multiple energies, multiple universal energies converging for your benefit. Like, this isn't an experience where you can just control what happens and change the outcome with your willpower, your magic, your mind, whatever it is. It's like the universe has this experience for you, and it starts here and it stops here, and you have to walk through all of it. And if you can embrace it, like, following is building momentum, it's bringing together more resources that you need, it is celebrating your wins, as that first card says. And yeah, it's just understanding, like, anxiety isn't trying to limit you, but free you from a situation that no longer feels good. So Spirit is saying you are in the discomfort for a reason. Again, look up Jung's teachings on this. I feel like that'll just explain everything for you really clearly. And because I feel like you're an incredibly intelligent and tuned in person, like you'll catch on to what this is teaching you and start to adapt to it and move the energy very quickly. I feel like you just needed to kind of understand there's just a few little pieces that you were missing, and you were starting to get, dejected because you weren't seeing the results that you wanted. But you're doing great. You've got this. You're in it. The fact that you've manifested this kind of situation shows your strength and your power and your dedication to yourself and your journey to wholeness. And Spirit is commending you for that and providing you with this bit of relief that you've also aligned with because of your work that you're doing. So well done. So let's pull a few more cards to clarify and potentially deepen your message. I also noted that as I was pulling the cards initially, I was like, I felt stressed and like I wanted to rush. Like I was pulling cards out and I almost dropped the tarot deck, and then I felt like this anxiety, like I need to get through this quickly. And I felt like I put that note to the side and was like, this is probably what this person's experiencing. But yeah, just a sense of like, trying to get through this process faster than you are able to. Like you actually can't move it with your will. You can't get through it faster than its kind of defined term. So settling into that, making peace with that, and seeing this as a testament to you and the inner work that you're doing is the way to go. So let's flip over the rest of your cards. You've got have confidence. Again, not bashing yourself. And understanding also that you can do this, like this task, although it is testing you and challenging you and pushing you to your limits, like this is something that you and your soul have co-created for yourself. You've manifested this because it is your opportunity to get to somewhere that you want to bring yourself to. And just trusting that nothing's going wrong. This is all meant to be. I really feel like as you pick up these new pieces of information, you'll really start to just kind of master your perspective of yourself again, because yeah, it's like this experience is knocking your confidence a little bit in yourself and your sense of who you are. And it's like, oh, I'm not as powerful as I thought I was, and am I manifesting wrong? Like, what's going on? So don't use the external as validation for yourself. Just detach from that. You're doing great. And it's just, the more life experience you get, the more you understand kind of what's going on and how different experiences pop up at different times in life. And when we're younger, we like to think that we can kind of control everything and move everything with our power, and then we kind of meet some of the other forces of the universe that say, this is all soul energy, and it's all about cultivating wisdom and wholeness, and every experience is valuable. And the fact that things aren't working the way that they maybe used to for you just shows you that you've elevated to a higher level of your spiritual journey, of your psychological journey to wholeness, or whatever it is you call it. So Princess of Purity leaps across, and gratitude again. So I feel like reading Princess of Purity. It says, I have such faith in you that I have placed what appears to be an obstacle in your way. It is actually a stepping stone that will help you rise. If there were no challenges, how would you gain trust and confidence in yourself, in me? Through my grace, I am giving you an invisible boost. You shall leap over this obstacle with such lightness of heart and foot. You shall then believe that anything is possible. So during a challenge, trusting in divine grace is so helpful. Perhaps you hope for the best, wanting to trust that the goodness in people would somehow win through and turn a mess into an opportunity for healing, but perhaps the situation didn't quite work out as you had hoped, or maybe you feel everyone is doing their best, but something is still blocking the way to resolution and healing. This oracle arises when there's something of an obstacle or challenge that you are growing through. It might be creating an inner sense of unease or discomfort that you feel but cannot quite explain. The good news is that you are being blessed with an empowerment of grace. You are going to be given the power to overcome the obstacle. So again, very clear message. Have confidence. You can do this. You've manifested something in your life that you can handle. It might be calling you into new resources, into places that you haven't been to before, into new information, into new ways of thinking and being. But this is all benefiting you. And the more you can see this situation as helpful to you and as something that's come in response to your intention to grow, to learn more of your power, to be more whole, the smoother all of this can be. So just really, if you can find appreciation for this experience, because of where it's going to take you, like the power that you're going to take up, the confidence in yourself that you're going to gain, the sense that you can overcome any challenge and that you have greater resources than you ever thought you did before, and that, to have this under your belt is something that you achieved, is something that your soul, whatever you call it, wants. So just appreciating it for what it is and knowing that you can do this, you've got this. Okay, so that's your reading. Thank you for listening, and blessings on your journey. Hi Pile 2, welcome to your reading. This is a what do you want to know at this time reading, so let's go ahead and flip your cards over. And we've got the Wheel, the King of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. Go for it. Witchcraft. And you are the truth seeker, awakening, actualizing, transcending. How can you invite more grace to guide you? The sacred flow of yes. Careful affection. Joy. And collective of the Southwest. So with the sacred flow of yes and go for it, there is some message of a big alignment that is happening for you. Joy also plays into this. There's a sense of a flow of energy that's working, that you can tap into, that you're moving with. Okay, so what I feel is that you have people in your life and you have perspectives about other people and the ways that they work that are not necessarily serving you. So there's constructions in your mind, beliefs and attitudes, maybe judgmental or cold-hearted attitudes, destructive attitudes or beliefs. It's just the way that you're looking at something is not serving you. And it feels like it has to do with a community. Maybe there's two specific people or one specific person that this has to do with. I almost feel like you are trying to manipulate somebody. You might not be aware of what you're doing, but the way that in the Queen of Wands, like there's a hand holding that woman's head. And just the rest of these energies, it feels like you see somebody as the deliverer of something that you desire. You have allocated somebody as the source of what you're looking for. This person can give me what I need, is kind of the energy here. And there's this sentiment in you that this is an alignment. It's a yes, it looks good. It looks like the right thing. What is going on here? This feels like quite a complex situation with other people. There's this sentiment that your relationship with somebody or a past experience that you had with somebody who might still be in your life has caused you issues. And it's like you want to kind of erase or undo that person's influence or energy in your life. The guidance is like what you've been through is the sacred material that your bliss is based on, that what you're moving towards has been built by these more painful experiences that you have been through. And it feels like there's some sort of negative belief that you hold around how other people have treated you in the past. Perhaps to do with being manipulated or feeling like somebody used you for their benefit, for their good. Ultimately, what you're moving towards is following your bliss, is a life where these past experiences of other people kind of manipulating you for their benefit flips on its head and becomes you following your bliss. So how might that relate? Like, so someone used you to follow their bliss, and that negative experience is what caused you to essentially start to become aware that you have a shadow which said it is wrong to be selfish. It is wrong to follow my desires. It is wrong to want something and to use all means I can to seek it. It is wrong to want something and to receive it from a source. So you had this experience of being used, manipulated for somebody else's desire. And at this point, it feels like you have this bliss in front of you. So you have joy, you have yeses, you have go for it. You have things shifting that show you that you are starting to follow your bliss in your life, and you are becoming a more whole person now that you've kind of navigated that shadow piece which you were projecting out, which was this sentiment that other people were doing to you in a negative way. Like other people were having their way with you for their own selfish desire. And now you're learning how to, or you're allowing your desires to be what drives you and to be what brings manifestations to you. That your passion and your bliss and your joy in life is something that you can follow and allow to bring to you all of the satisfaction, all the pieces. But yes, those past experiences of having been used and manipulated for somebody else's desire and their benefit, it feels like this is something that's a little stuck in your energy, where you're being guided to see that experience as a sort of oyster pearl thing, where it was the grit that caused the pearl to be formed, like that uncomfortable, perhaps terrible experience of being used that way is what has propelled you to integrate the shadow part of you, which said that you weren't allowed to selfishly follow your desires. So because of that experience, this is why you are now aligned with your joy and your purpose and your passion. It's like that experience was the fertilizer, was the junk that the lotus grew out of. That experience is supportive of you and where you're going, and it's not something that you need to undo or remove from your life with, with the rituals or whatever. It's almost like this reading is saying, like, you are about to become that energy that you hated so much, that was such a problem for you in the past, but not in a negative way. The thing is that in order for you to find the positive embodiment of the experience, you have to integrate those past experiences of people using you that way, not erasing them from your energy, not hating on them, but understanding that those out of alignment pieces of other people were reflecting parts of you that you can also bring into alignment and own in a positive way. Because I feel like the King of Swords and the Queen of Wands here, they carry like a kind of yucky past energy in this specific reading. So we have the Wheel, which is like the change and something shifting and things being new. But then these kind of old characters are coming with you, and it really feels like you're becoming these people that hurt you in a way. And because you're resisting those past experiences and you're angry at those people, or you're trying to write them out of your life, like you're depriving yourself of a better expression of them, if that makes sense. Like we have a lot of, like, I've seen a lot of this where somebody gets mistreated by others, and then it's like they find their power, but it's a negative power, and they become like a horrible kind of, shadow possessed people who act out all these terrible things that were done to them, and they do them to others. So I feel like this reading is almost warning you a little bit, like, not to become like that, and to be aware that, because you're resisting the past experiences, you haven't integrated them properly, you haven't processed them properly or digested them. Like, you are heading in that direction where you could be the shadow version of them. So the other cards that I pulled for you, because this is such a complex reading, it took me a while to kind of tune in, and I needed to literally pull like 5 more cards to get the message. But you had your past supports your future, Empress of the Pearl, which I can't show you, and Changes, which is like the wheel, following your bliss. And the setting sun sings the song of unmaking, which is about kind of undoing or taking away something, like erasing something. So all of these together read the story that I kind of painted here. So what we need to do now is kind of look into the next phase with regards to like integrating these shadow pieces of you correctly so that you can move forward in a really good way. So let's pull some cards. So we've got the Five of Swords, Ancestral Guardians of Light, Dream a Little, and Cleanse and Detoxify. So one thing I'm feeling like this reading is bringing our awareness to is the fact that the people that took advantage of you were family, or people that you consider family, but essentially people that informed your own nervous system, people that informed your vibration when you were little, people that informed your, like, that you have kind of karmic connections with, that you carried forward whatever they kind of did to you in your system. And because you couldn't own the shadow part of it, like, you became the victim of it, if that makes sense. So you weren't doing the abusing, you were the victim of the abuse. And then later in life, it's like you remanifested that abuse through other people. And now your warning is like, you need to integrate that energy because you will become an abuser. You don't want to project this energy on the outside. The Five of Swords is like this toxic enmeshment with kind of a karmic pattern where you're just kind of repeating energy that you witnessed when you were younger. You know, maybe your father used your mother for money, or vice versa, or whatever. And then somebody did that to you, and now it's like you could potentially go out and do that too. So cleanse and detoxify, ancestral guardians of light. It's like releasing yourself from this karmic chain where there's just like this cycle of abuse and victim and abuse and victim and abuse and victim. Dream a Little is speaking to you of feeling into what your future could look like, what this could look like in a positive light. What kind of changes could be possible for you. And it all has to do with following your desires, like having your desires met by the universe or through others. I find this like a really tricky energy to read, which makes me think that this is just like a really kind of complex ancestral karmic kind of situation. So I'm going to ask for one card to kind of sum up the guidance here, the message. We get She-Wolf of the South. She-Wolf of the South says, your past can be a source of beneficial wisdom gleaned through experience, rather than a stifling burden of regret, recrimination, and rumination. Acknowledge your heroic heart and the strength of will that has seen you through to this moment. Decide that you will utilize everything that has happened to grow wiser, to heal yourself, to realize your inner strength. Acknowledge the suffering in what has been, but do not allow it to disrupt or dissuade you from your faithful confidence in your ability to live a more beautiful and healed life. And that is, I feel like if I could have just pulled this one card, it would have been a lot easier than going through all of these other ones. And I feel a little bit like that might be how you're feeling about this experience that you had. You might be a little bitter of like, well, you know, I saw it from the beginning. Why did I have to go through all these things? why couldn't I have just got the answer? And that is where you're refusing to use your past as your medicine that you stand on, as your fertilizer. It's like this bitterness and resentfulness of the pain that you went through. It's not unjustified, but it is something that your soul wants you to alchemize, because it is something that will bring you greater wholeness. And we have to go through experiences in life as part of our spiritual journeys to become more whole. And for whatever reason, you selected this journey for yourself, and now to kind of bash it and to hate on it and to regret on it is really not serving you in moving forward and using what you went through to fuel you, rather than as a source of pain. And you know that when you do that, you perpetuate the karma, you perpetuate the ugly energy. If you can't get past it and you feel bitter, you are capable of transmuting this trauma, this karma. You can do this. So you will transmute this ancestral energy into dharma. You must. It is your path. I feel like this reading is giving you a choice, almost like, you could see what happens if you don't figure it out. But I feel like, you're getting this reading for a reason. It's letting you know that something needs to change here. And it is this sense that, why did I have to go through all of this? I was aware of this from the beginning. I already knew that this, I knew that this wasn't right, and whatever the story is of why you had to kind of walk out this ancestral karmic issue, and maybe that you had to carry it for a while and you had to live all these terrible experiences. But if you can just trust that you chose to go through it all for a reason, and that there is some sort of golden, beautiful pearl that is the result of this process, you will start allowing it to come forward into your life. And it all goes back to following your bliss. So again, perhaps your ancestral karmic issue is around being used, taken advantage of for other people's desires, you not being allowed to have your own desires, you having to sacrifice yourself to please other people. Perhaps you feel like you wasted a lot of your life pleasing others rather than following your own desires because of this pattern. And then you're bitter and you just want to erase it. And but yeah, it's just this warning here that you need to face this kind of unprocessed psychological material in yourself. I might recommend like an appointment with a psychoanalyst or an art therapist, something to help you process this energy so that you can alchemize it into dharma and you don't have to walk forward with the karmic pattern that you were handed. Like, it is up to you. It is your choice to walk forward in a better way. So that's your reading. Thank you for listening, and blessings on your journey. Welcome to your reading pile 3. This is a what do you want to know at this time reading. So let's flip over your cards. You got the Empress and the Nine of Cups, the Lotus Throne, the edge of evolution feels messy. Midas touch, things are working out in your favor. Time to go. Blessing of the Kata bestowed. Hearing messages from Spirit. Sovereign boundaries. And Gribs Prayang with the wolves. So you're definitely about to take a big leap forward. This is moving into a phase of life that feels more rich and abundant and luxurious and very soft and loving and connected. Like everything's kind of working out for you, like your cup's being filled, your prayers are being answered. You might be right on the cusp of this new way of being, so perhaps you're moving from fear to love, from codependency to self-sufficiency. There's some big shift you're about to have, and you're right on the edge. And when you are right on the edge, things can be chaotic. You can have a lot of kind of old crap coming up to be purged, to be sorted through, to be alchemized, to be worked with, to feel, just really being called into some places that you may not have wanted to go before, or just that need to be cleaned up before this new cycle begins. So you're feeling guided at this time. You're feeling like directed. You're hearing the messages from spirit. You're feeling the itch. It's like, yes, it's time. Something's happening. You might feel like you know what to do. I feel like you're aware of the chaos around you and you have a sense of what to do, and this reading just confirms, just keep doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. So Grib Spra-Young speaks to, it's a very similar message to the Edge of Evolution Feels Messy card. It's about having kind of lower vibration or negativity stuff, shadow, whatever you want to call it, just kind of junky stuff that's around you at this moment. So these cards are asking you, how can you maintain your center amidst this chaos and this mess and, you know, might be other people's junk and karma. How can you maintain yourself in your center while all this stuff is coming, you know, going on around you? And that seems to be your challenge at this moment as you're about to pass through this threshold, is to really stay in your center regardless of whatever chaos is around you. And for some of you, this might link to, most likely links to nervous system programming when you were younger, where you had to regulate yourself to a chaotic person, to somebody lower vibration or someone who was living a lot of dysregulation. And you're potentially used to being thrown off or having to lower yourself or, you know, go tend to somebody else who is not quite your vibrational level, who can't regulate themselves like perhaps you can. You're used to tending to chaos. And so at large, this feels like a big exit of your system from that dynamic. And you could call that codependency as well. It's just regulating others or lowering yourself to regulate others. There's some sort of messy nervous system entanglement that you have lived through, that you were perhaps born into, and but you're exiting it at this point. This feels like this might be the exit that you're working on. That, you know, that could be the way that we explain it at the nervous system, or tracing it back to childhood level. That you are becoming sovereign in your energy, in your boundaries, and that it feels like at this point you know what to do. Like you might still be living this where you are having to navigate a close loved one or someone in your life, or a pet, just something very close to you that is dysregulated, that's asking for you to regulate them. And your job at this point is to just keep saying no, putting up your boundaries, and it feels like at this point you know what to do. So generally, if you're feeling dysregulated around somebody, the best thing to do is to, obviously you put space, but you become hyper aware of absolutely everything that this person or this being is asking of you, is interacting with you about. Because with these kinds of people, dysregulated people that are relying on you or have relied on you for a very long time to regulate them, they will be constantly asking you for your energy. So asking you questions that you know that they should be able to answer on their own, for example. You know, just constantly making demands, like they want something, and if you don't give it to them, you're bad in some way. Just watching out for behaviors like that of those people who are constantly trying to pull on you and draw on you, and watching your reaction to it and making it less of a big deal. because for people that have grown up that way, the nervous system just gets used to that and is on constant guard against people wanting something from them and trying to navigate how to give it to them, versus self-protection. And so you're at the turning point where you are becoming sovereign in your boundaries, where whatever this is not part of your reality anymore, but you're dealing with the last of the off gas. You're dealing with the very end, tail end, and what you need to do is assert your space in the midst of what you're experiencing. And this will reprogram your own nervous system to expect safety and ease and stability even where there is chaos. So you're retraining your own nervous system back into regulation, no matter what's around you. Even if there's dysregulated people, it's not your issue. You are unaffected. So again, it really feels like you know what to do. If you don't, I would recommend just an internet search or go on ChatGPT and explain your situation and ask for practices that can help you with staying in your own space, regardless of whether there's dysregulated energies around you or not. So it really feels like you're about to break through this. You're right on the cusp of it. And even though things might be messy right now, just know that everything is working out for you. Everything is serving you. You're doing it. You're right on it. This is your sign that you are doing the work and you are succeeding, and you're at the very tail end. Just keep doing what you're doing. Your work is to reprogram your nervous system to feel safe, even amongst chaotic, dysregulated energies around you. You're just about to succeed. So let's pull a few more cards to see if this message deepens or changes. Creative power. Celebrate your wins. And this is not your practice life. Decide. What is your inner voice telling you about the dream in your heart? So yeah, you're getting really very strong messages from spirit, from your inner guidance of it's time, here's what to do. Trust yourself, keep going, and make the decision. Make the decision that you are moving out of fear into love. You are moving out of chaotic, dysregulated connections and dependencies into self-sufficiencies. Make the decision and act on the guidance you're getting. Act on, if you need to take yourself out of the situation, take the action. You are really being nudged forward into it's time. It's your time. This is it. This is your time to free yourself. You are doing it. So celebrate your wins is a really good way to continue this momentum, to identify what's been working for you, and to just really acknowledge that you have been doing it. I feel like what you really need from this reading, what I'm getting from you, is that you need some sort of external validation, that you know that you're doing the work, you're doing it. And part of me wants to tell you, you have to know that you're doing it on your own. Seeking external validation is continued codependency energy. So celebrate your wins brings you back to yourself so that you can know that you're doing it. You are doing it, but someone else telling you, no matter how much external validation you get, you'll never feel settled until you validate yourself. So your work is to validate yourself. So celebrate your wins. Just write down all the progress that you've been making, all the changes that you've been seeing, the way that you're feeling more clear, the way that you can hold your space more. So I would recommend writing a list of all the ways that you have succeeded in progressing forward lately. You might be feeling stronger, just noticing your evidence in the external, as well as the shifts in how you're feeling. You're feeling more powerful. You're seeing changes. You're seeing the world respond differently to you, etc. It feels like freeing yourself from whatever this is you taking up your power to create your reality, because it feels like this has really kept you caged and feeling powerless and you're a victim to others. Like this has kept you feeling very stuck and just not in your power. You felt at the mercy of forces outside of you. This is all kind of relating back to that external validation piece and codependency and all that. This is your time to own your power. So again, part of doing that is not needing the external validation, validating yourself, knowing that you are doing this, you are succeeding. You have evidence showing you that you're doing this. And again, the decision, it's like you need to decide that this is what you're doing, that you are more important than whatever this is, that you are overcoming this, and that you are moving into your absolute best extraordinary life. And the colors of these cards are absolutely beautiful. Like there's really interesting energy here with that. It's kind of rainbow, like jewel tones, and then the darker colors, more matted, like muted colors next to the jewel tones. It just speaks to like this transition between old energy, like a more drab kind of palette, to something that's really extraordinary and jewel toned. And it's like that's what's emerging. It's that color, that extraordinariness, that individuated energy that's coming forward out of the like normal, out of the ordinary. And you could really say like someone who's individuating out of codependency and like all those kind of older energies and into individuality, into the extraordinary, into what feels like you and what feels authentic and real and colorful and bright and like being alive. Like you are moving into this new state of being, and it's amazing. And just celebrate yourself. So let's close the reading with one more card. You've got Ethereal Touch closing your reading. Spirit is present in your very touch at this time, and you are having an impact on the world around you, particularly your close relationships, in ways that are far more profound than may be immediately obvious. Accept and embrace your healing abilities, and to trust that you can feel your way through life. You are meant to touch the world with your spirit. So again, it's like you're getting external validation that you are a creator, like you are having an impact on your life. You are doing the thing, like what you are intending, and the results that you're getting, it's you. So this is your message, to take credit for being a creator and to recognize that you are powerful and that you are having an impact on your reality. Like the work that you're doing, whether you're, every day you're meditating, doing visualizations, doing affirmations, maybe nothing's happening or you're getting chaos in return, but it doesn't matter. This is your journey to recognize that you're a creator no matter what's kind of coming up around you. You're not ever failing. If you're ever manifesting chaos, it's like you're purging old stuff that needs to go. And you might have been doing this for many years. You might feel like it's hard to recognize your creator energy because you are constantly manifesting chaos. And you might be for years. And it's all part of you purging out just old stuff that doesn't need to be with you. So the questions for you to ask yourself are, how can you really own your power, your creator power? How can you really recognize that you are doing it, you are achieving it? How can you celebrate the work that you have done? Where do you see evidence that you are successful? And all the evidence that you might have might be within yourself. And it might be about recognizing how powerful you feel, that you feel different, you feel better. Noticing that what you're feeling on the inside is your indicator rather than the external validation, the change in reality that you're looking for. Like this journey for you is all about internal validation, internal regulation, and not external validation, external regulation, and becoming a creator. This is you becoming sovereign in your energy and being self-sufficient and independent with your energy. So great work, pile 3. Give yourself a pat on the back, acknowledge yourself. You are doing amazing stuff, and make sure you figure out how to see that for yourself. And thank you for listening. Blessings on your journey.